Go.
Hello, and here we are in Atlas Studios. Old mill, built in 1888, and in what we call the slate room, because it's got a slate floor. So this is the first time we've been able to use fog at Atlas. Right? So Rob has worked out a way of disabling the fire detection room by room, so we're able to wheel out some fog machines, and we've got some fantastic ideas which we're going to shoot. We've got Tinkerbella here to model for us.
This is a really warm thing like
a sort of cyber sci-fi kind of character, and hopefully that's going to fit in with this industrial setting. And we're going to play around with fog, we're going to play around with backlit fog on the stairs, some chilled fog, all kinds of things. We're going to throw some gels in, some wind, you name it. So hopefully it's going to be a fantastic day, and we're going to get some fantastic shots, and we'll be able to teach you all about this on the upcoming workshops. So here we have some my DIY fog chiller. The advantage of shooting stills is that you don't really need it to work for very long. So we can get away with just pumping the fog through that pipe over there, which we're going to fill with these blocks, and hopefully that's going to make it heavy, and it's going to sink downstairs. But we'll see. So we'll fill this up. And you can buy these pipes from B&Q. I think they're about £5 or something. I've had this one years. I just need to make sure that they don't touch the output of the fog machine, because you can melt holes in your blocks and then they leak. Pushed a little bit further in that way. And the more you seal it, the denser the fog gets. If you let a bit of air in it, it becomes a little less dense. But I think we want it quite dense today. We're going to swap to the cable to remote. Okay, right, now we just need some kind of fill light from below, so what I'm going to do, we need another light low down. So we get this Brooklyn reflector. Seth makes these in New York, they're $300. I use them under license. And we're going to bounce an orange light, I think, to begin with, into that one. So let's get another stand of a light. Hello! Wow. Cool. Building a key light setup. So I think you all watch Daniel Norman on YouTube?
Sorry?
Daniel Norman?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Oh, you do? You watch Daniel?
Daniel, it sounds familiar. The name sounds familiar. I don't know whether I've seen it. So what colours are you going to use today? Are you using gel?
So we've got a blue one in there.
Ooh, nice.
So opposite on the colour wheel is orange. So we're going to start with that, I think.
Yeah.
We're going to keep that one neutral for now, but I might try and go for something in the middle, split the difference, which would be like a pink or a purple. But we'll see. Obviously we may need to light the environment a little bit as well.
Yes.
So, you know, just to get the edge of that stairwell. See how that works. What's in the frame as well. Not used to having so much space. That's the main issue. Kind of chill and putting that down. These are little hats that I make, right?
Nice.
Like condoms. They go on. They go on the glass domes and they carter super fast.
And they don't get partial now?
They do.
Right.
But they're okay. I mean, these are Roscoe theatrical gels, and they can withstand quite high temperatures.
Amazing.
So if you leave them on in light on, sometimes they will stick to the glass, but a bit of acetone, which you get from beauty shops. I buy mine from the beauty outlet in Cheshire Oaks. Pure acetone will melt the residual plastic off the glass, so we just do that. Hopefully we don't trip this. Ending up with too much. We're going to shoot this quite close, I think, so I'm going to swap out a long lens for the 2470. So did you prop it on? Over there for the scale sneaker. Chance to get a replacement. Gaffer tape, the fixer of all things.
Just for a say. Perfect. Sort everything out. When it reaches you, it heats up. Right, so we're done. I think we've covered literally all the angles, including down on the floor. So I'm now covered in Atlas dust, which you just can't avoid, unfortunately. It's 100 and odd year old mill, 120, 130 year old mill, covered in this orange dust. But I think it's important to try and, I have to remind myself to try and cover all those angles. So we've been on the step ladder, we've got some high ones, we shot down as low as sort of 14 mil at one point to try and get some real drama and real close-ups. Tink did a wonderful job. Arms out, getting that drama from the pose as well to match the lighting. And it's worked really well. We've moved the fog machine, and in the end we just gave up trying to persuade the fog to go down the stairs, and we just put the fog machine at the bottom of the stairs and filled it up, so the fog then rose out of the stairwell, which is pretty cool. But I think we're done with this now. I think we've exhausted all the different things we can do, so we're going to move on to do something else.
And so on to the next one. Now, it's easy when you first see Atlas and you see all the big windows and you think, wow, imagine the sun, coming through those windows, and Rob has got some shots of that happening in the studio. But of course you can't rely on it. And of course, when we turned up on the day, it was cloudy. So we made our own sun. I put up an AD200 with an orange gel on it, just off to the right there, shining through these sort of partition windows. And the AD200 is a small light, it's a small source, so it will produce a nice hard light and emulate that sort of late evening sun. And the plan was we were going to fill the room with some haze, and the light that I'm just setting up at the back there was going to act as a sort of a counterpoint to that light. It's an ungelled light, and that would provide the sort of bounce light, if you like, and emulate the sort of colder room light which you would get during a sunset situation. However, I kind of ummed and ahed and faffed around with this light for a long time, and here I've got it aimed directly at Tink. And I kind of bounce back and forth between doing that and aiming it at the wall and just providing a sort of a general wash. In the end I went with the general wash of light because I felt that the direct light was just competing too much with the hard direct light for drama and impact. So we just ended up just sort of filling the room with it. And here I am just filling the room up with haze. This is a medium density fog, so a different machine, very similar machine though, very similar in power, just different liquid in it. And we wanted a more sort of even light, so you'd have to sort of let this fog sort of marinade for a bit, waft it about, and it sort of evens out. It's amazing fog. Even though you can't really see it anymore in the room, that's how we want it really. It's that kind of lighter fog, and that's kind of about ideal for this situation. So although it looks more dramatic when it's coming out of the machine like that, it's there's still enough of it hanging around to show up when the flashes go off, and that's what we're after in this situation. Poor old Tink's trying to keep warm there. It was quite cold in the studio. I mean, I tend to get really, really hot, moving around, moving equipment, running up and down, and it's okay when they're sort of, posing. It's quite a strenuous activity in some respects, but all the waiting around, you soon cool down. So, but it wasn't. The breaks weren't long enough really for her to go back to the sort of heating station that we'd created with the little radiator, little infrared heater, blankets and whatnot on the stool. She had to stick it out.
Yeah, we can use the stairs. We do that next. The last one will be in the big room.
And finally, we got it right. And John comes in with the wind there. He's just got the wind machine sticking through that partition window that you can see on the right. A vicious little machine, that's a workshop dust extractor. It's very, very powerful, but it does scream like a banshee, as you can hear. I'm just trying to get a few angles there, wrap this up. There's much more we could have done with this, putting things in the way of the light and casting shadows and things like that. And maybe we'll get round to that on the workshop, but we had to move on to the next shot. And there we go. Finally, he's happy. She thinks. Get me back to my heater. Don't do this. This is a stupid idea. Look where you're going. And there we go. For this next one, I had the idea of having the fog roll down the stairs with Tink on it, so that it would be around her feet and sort of lower legs. What we found though is when we put the fog machine at the top of the stairs, that there was actually quite a strong updraft, a sort of chimney effect, if you like, in the stairwell, and it dragged the fog up the stairs. So it kind of did an about turn and went up the next flight of stairs. So we then put it at the bottom of these stairs here, in front of Tink, still chilled, and it did stick more or less to the steps and roll up the steps. So it kind of worked out right. And here I managed to get my thumb stuck, not once, but twice, putting this stand back up.
I'm too old for this shit, as they say.
You you got to my age, boy.
The chimney effect will take it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, one more go. And I think we're going to move on. Zoom in a bit for some of these. Okay. Yes. Alright. Check that out.
Oh my god, that's incredible.
Awesome.
That's
Brilliant.
so cool, man.
Okay.
Such a good idea. Got it.
Just for the sake of Craig's sanity, let's not put any more fog into these stairwells.
Yeah.
We're done in here now, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally we made it into the big room, and here I wanted to make use of the space really. Very rarely have this amount of space to shoot inside, and so I'd got a backlight right at the back there by those little green doors between the fire extinguishers. There it is, it's got a sort of long throw reflector on it, and just sorting out the gels there. some blue. I think we went for some oranges in the back. And some of the colours in between. And we're going to use the dense fog on this one in a minute. We're just sorting out the lighting. I started off using the projector. And there is fog in these images, but it's right in the back. And the place is so vast that it sort of has its own sort of weather system. So fog that we output, 10 minutes ago comes back around in the air circulation, in the air pattern, and showed up in the shot again. It was fantastic. It was like having a little mini weather system in the back. Now we quickly figured out that we kind of needed the fog to hang around a little bit longer, so we ended up putting the chiller on it. And I think in a second you're going to see me move the fog to the other side, because we figured out that we were blowing it against the wind and it was sort of getting halfway across the set and then coming back again. And that's one thing you've got to work out wherever you're shooting, even in the smallest studio. There will be a prevailing air current. And finally we figured it out and moved the fog machine. That's some strange rocket. Just adding the chiller there.
Okay, so actually, put this way.
We put it a little bit in front of you.
Okay, that's a go. Where's the camera gone? It's getting dark. Too dark to see. Hopefully this will.
And again, it doesn't look that strong, that fog, but I remember this first shot was pretty much just covered in it.
So we've got a ton of fog. What else is going to happen? Just to hold us up just for another few seconds,
That's my life as a photographer, just on my knees as usual. But you've got to get used to that. You've got to get down in the dirt sometimes to get the angle right. And I wanted
Let's roll some more fog in.
Tink to look imposing. She already looks pretty imposing in that outfit and those boots, but it was important to shoot from a low angle, just to emphasise her stature. And once again, I've overdone the fog. That doesn't really help. Neither does that.
We thought the prevailing wind was going that way, but now it's...
It's kind of.
Let's hang it this way. Okay. Oh, it's going that way now anyway. Okay. Fine.
Like any dynamic element in a shot, you take your chances with the fog. But it's even more rewarding when you get something good, when you get what you want eventually. I think it's a fantastic model. Just look at all those poses. Just awesome. It's hard to know when to stop. She seems to have an endless supply of these.
Okay, right.
And that about wraps it up.
Last thing, swift lighting change, and then we're done.
Thanks for watching, and if you would like to know more about how to create effects with fog, then look out for some workshop dates at Atlas fairly soon.